Good morning and welcome to the Mayor's News Conference. Here's this week's agenda. We have an overview of the Jefferson Educational Society's upcoming Global Summit, a donation to the Erie Police Department's Bomb Squad, and an announcement regarding a Certified Welcoming Scholarship. And now I'll turn it over to the Mayor.
Thank you, Renee. Good morning, everybody, and happy October. We haven't had a press conference the last couple of weeks, basically because we didn't want to waste your time if we had no good, newsworthy information to present. But we're happy to be back with you today, so let's get started. The Jefferson Education Society's 10th Global Summit takes place from October 29th to November 10th this year, and there's a very exciting lineup of speakers. I'm happy to have Ben Spagan here to present an overview and share some highlights. And while Ben comes up to the podium, I want to welcome Ferky Ferretti for being here with us as well. Thank you. Ben?
On behalf of the Jefferson Educational Society, I just want to thank Mayor Schember and his entire team for inviting us here today to give an overview of our upcoming Global Summit. As the Mayor said, that'll be held here in Erie, Pennsylvania from October 29th to November 16th. Of course, the Jefferson wants to thank our President, Dr. Ferky Ferretti, under whose leadership we've been able to grow the summit from just a two-day conference, humble beginnings back in 2009, all the way to a three-week-long event here in 2018. And of course, we'd like to thank the chairwoman of our Board of Trustees, former Erie Mayor Joyce Savacchio. Without the gracious donation and support of our sponsors, an event like this would not be possible. We've been able to keep the tickets for the Global Summit the same price since we opened its doors back in 2009. Big thanks to Lecom Health as well as Erie Insurance, Thomas B. Hagen, Gannon University, Erie News Now, ECRA, Penn State Barron, Velocity Network, PNC, Your Erie, Jet 24, Fox 66, and many others who allow us to keep those ticket prices low and affordable. One of the great things we've been able to do, 2 years ago we made the announcement that all Jefferson programming, including the Global Summit, would be free and open to all Erie County students. Those are students at any of the local universities, as well as high schools, as well as middle schools, and even a precocious third grader who wants to attend any of our programming. That's absolutely free to them. Tickets and more information, of course, are available on the Jefferson's website, jeserie.org, or by giving us a call at 814-459-8000, or by visiting us at our location at 3207 State Street. We are proud to announce that this is an ambitious lineup, 16 speakers, over 12 events we are featuring. The kickoff event will be with renowned columnist for the Washington Post, David Ignatius, who's a syndicated columnist featured here in the Erie Times News. That event will be held at Gannon and is sponsored by Erie Insurance. The following night, on Tuesday, October 30th, we are welcoming Ashley Swearingen. She was a two-term mayor of Fresno, California. She is now the CEO and director of the Central Valley Community Foundation in Fresno. We believe that Erie has much to learn from Fresno. James and Deborah Fallows, in their book Our Towns, often talk about the accomplishments of Fresno. And many public appearances have likened Erie to Fresno and Fresno to Erie. This is an amazing opportunity for us to bring in somebody from the West Coast to learn a bit about what they are doing and the successes they have had in light of the challenges they have faced. On Thursday, November 1st, we're again bringing somebody in from the West Coast, from Stanford University. We're happy to welcome back to the Jefferson Dr. Ian Morris, professor of classics at Stanford University. He'll be talking about his critically acclaimed book, War, What Is It Good For?, that covers the span of humanity's grappling with war and conflict. Starting week 2 of the Global Summit, we are proud to bring in an Erie native, Dr. Leonard Calabrese. He is the director of immunology at Cleveland Clinic. He will be talking about the human immune system 2018, how behavior affects wellness and longevity. We're going to take November 6th off. That is Election Day. Friendly reminder to get out and vote and participate in our democracy. But the following day, to discuss what has happened in the midterm elections, as well as what it's like to be a close advisor to the 45th president, we're welcoming in former top advisor to the president and current Fox News contributor, Sebastian Gorka. The following night, keeping a conservative theme, we are bringing in General Michael Hayden, former director of the CIA, who has recently published the book, The Assault on Intelligence, American National Security in the Age of Lies. Following that, we are proud to bring in Michael Eric Dyson, a renowned sociologist at Georgetown University. He'll be talking about his book, What Truth Sounds Like, Robert F. Kennedy, James Baldwin, and our unfinished conversation about race in America. Starting the third and final week of the summit this year, we are proud to bring back Doris Carnes Goodwin, renowned historian and author, Pulitzer Prize winner. We brought Doris Carnes Goodwin here to Erie back in 2016 for Global Summit 8, and she presented to a sold-out crowd at the Mary D'Angelo Performing Arts Center. We are happy to announce that this year we are holding that at an even larger venue to make sure that anyone who wants an opportunity to hear from Doris Carnes Goodwin will have that. That event will be held at the Hammermill Center on the campus of Gannon University. The following night, we're going to take a trip up to Penn State Barron, one of our host sites as well. We'll be having a debate featuring Howard Dean and Elise Jordan. Howard Dean, former presidential candidate and leader of the Democratic Party, and Elise Jordan, chief speechwriter for the George W. Bush administration, as well as a key contributor to Condoleezza Rice's campaigns. The following night, on Wednesday, November 14th, we're bringing in a media panel. Steve Scully, C-SPAN senior executive producer, will guide a conversation between Bill Plant and Ann Compton, taking a look at covering presidents from President Ford all the way up to President Trump. And of course, we're very happy to have back Steve Scully, an Erie native, serving yet again as the chairman of the Global Summit, something he's been doing now for 7 years for us. The following day, we're bringing Chris Matthews, MSNBC's hardball host, Chris Matthews, for a conversation. He'll be talking about his latest book, Bobby Kennedy, A Raging Spirit, as well as many other things. That, too, is at Gannon University, and that will be a day program at 11:30. And concluding this year's summit, we were featuring James and Deborah Fallows, who covered Erie in their critically acclaimed book, Our Towns. We are the concluding chapter, and we're proud to be that. And so to bring them in for a discussion about what they have found in their 100,000-mile journey across America into the heart of America's small and mid-sized cities, including Erie, we'll bring them in for a conversation. We are excited, too, to announce that they are the recipients of this year's Thomas B. Hagen Dignitas Award. One of the interesting things about that is that when we were establishing the award named after Captain Tom Hagen, that folks had to be a citizen of Erie to receive that. The Fallows are not. Jim's from Philadelphia and Deb is from Ohio. But we are proud to announce that the mayor will be granting them keys to the city at that event to make them honorary citizens of Erie, so they can receive that, and for all of the amazing things that they've done, including so much coverage in the Atlantic series, City Makers American Futures Project. Now, again, I mentioned some of our events are off-site. We'll be having 5 of those at Gannon University, 1 of those at Penn State Barron. To ease the flow for all of our patrons, we'll be providing valet service at both of those locations, as well as a shuttle service for the Penn State Barron event on the Jefferson campus. If you show up at 6:30, we will get you out to Penn State Barron. And of course, again, I want to thank the mayor's office for an opportunity to highlight this. Last year, we were able to bring 3,500 people in for this event. With the list and lineup of speakers that we have this year, we are ambitious and optimistic that we'll have more than 7,000 people attending this event. Currently, tickets are selling at 5 times the rate they've sold for any other global summit. We believe that we are attracting regional attention now. All too often, we think that you have to go to Pittsburgh, Buffalo, or Cleveland to see amazing events like this. We're able to do that right here in our own backyard in Erie. And we're happy to welcome in people from Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Cleveland to come see us and what we're doing here. Of course, again, all information is available on the Jefferson's website, jeserie.org, as well as giving us a call at 814-459-8000 or stopping by 3207 State Street. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mayor, for welcoming us here to talk about this.
Thank you, Ben. That's a very impressive lineup. I don't think there's many cities that have something like that, regardless of their size. It's pretty incredible. The Jefferson Society is an enormous asset to our entire region. The work they are doing is really helping us with our mission of building opportunity, restoring hope, and transforming Erie. Before we go to the second item, I want to recognize Patrick Fisher, who's here with us. He's the new director of the Erie Arts and Culture. And thanks a lot for being with us, Patrick. Good to see you. Next, we'd like to recognize the Knights of St. George from St. Michael's Parish for their recent donation of $20,000 to the Erie Police Department Bomb Squad. A basic bomb tech unit costs over $17,000. That's expensive, but specialized equipment for this unit is very important to keeping the people of our city safe. Here with us today is Sergeant Rick Erderly. I'd like to recognize him. He kind of runs the bomb squad. Thanks for being here. Also, we were hoping to have Leo Massaro with us. He's the president of the Knights of St. George. He was unable to be with us, but he did send us a statement I'd like to just read briefly. Our organization recognizes the service that this unit provides to the city of Erie and surrounding communities. It is our hope that this donation will not only help the City of Erie Bomb Squad, but the whole community by providing the resources needed for continued safe operation of the unit. We look forward to future directed donations that could aid in the City of Erie's public safety response. So thanks very much for that. I also appreciate Chief Dan Spizzarni being here, and I think most of the command staff is in the back as well. Thank you guys for being here to support this. Finally, our last topic for today is we want to announce that Erie is one of 5 communities in the country to receive the Certified Welcoming Scholarship of $12,000 from an organization called Welcoming America. As you know, celebrating our rich cultural diversity is the first of our 5-point vision for the City of Erie. Welcoming America is a national nonprofit that helps communities transform into vibrant environments where people respect each other and everyone's talents are valued and cultivated. Welcoming America Scholarship will help us harness the wealth and vibrancy that comes from diverse individuals who fully participate and invest in their hometowns. The welcoming standard that we are implementing provides a comprehensive roadmap for immigrant welcome and inclusion. The welcoming standard addresses a range of essential policies and programs from language access to hiring practices. The city must meet the core requirements outlined in the welcoming standard in order to receive the Certified Welcoming certification. Once achieved, the certification is good for 3 years. After attending the Welcoming American Conference this summer, Nika Astari Carpenter, our liaison to immigrants and refugees, applied for the scholarship for Erie to become Certified Welcoming. Nikan worked with the City Councilwoman Liz Allen and my Chief of Staff Renee Lamus to put together the application for funding. Liz Allen is here with us as well today. Liz, thanks for joining us. I'd like to ask Nikan and Liz to come up and give you some of their thoughts on this and the next steps we'll be going through.
First, I'd like to thank Mayor Chamber, Chief of Staff Renee Lamus, all of the mayor staff, Councilwoman Liz Allen, and Welcoming America, of course, for their support on my work as the liaison to refugee and immigrants in Erie. Certified Welcoming creates a more vibrant community. This goes along with the mayor's vision to celebrate our diverse culture, welcoming and vibrant neighborhoods, world-class downtown and bayfront, school of excellence, and abundance of family-sustaining jobs. The Certified Welcoming team is going to come to Erie to assess the policies, programs, processes, and partnerships on 7 different sectors in our community. Those sectors are government leadership, civic engagement, equitable access, education, connected communities, economic development, and safe communities. The standard also set out 4 essential strategies for how communities should approach and implement each criteria. First strategy is build connection between immigrants and longer-term residents, which is very important. Strategy number 2 would be set goals, monitor impact, and adjust strategies as needed. Strategy number 3 would be to design for equity and inclusion, and then the 4th strategy is implement in partnership. Next steps, we are going to have a teleconference with Certified Welcoming team to review the Certified Welcoming process, discuss the timeline, and then we will begin our self-assessment. The total assessment time shouldn't be more than 1 year, according to them. And in my experience, Liz, Erie is already a welcoming community. But I'm looking forward to working with all of you to make Erie even more welcoming.
I have to agree with Nikan that Erie is a welcoming community, and just in recent days, just this actually recent 2 days, between Tuesday and Wednesday, we had some great examples of Erie's diversity and efforts to make sure that we're inclusive. I'm referring to the breast cancer awareness event on Tuesday night in City Hall chambers. What an amazing event that was, because it was kicked off by singers from East Middle School. And when I talked to Jamelia Gates, who is the community schools coordinator for East, she said that this is part of this, that school's civic engagement process and part of the Erie School District's long-range plan to make sure that there is community engagement. The fun thing about connected communities is that I realized when I saw Jamelia, actually I think it was at the Jefferson a couple of months ago, when Nikan was part of bringing together women to talk about pay equity. I said, Jamelia, you look familiar. It turned out she used to be an intern at the newspaper. She was one of our sports interns years ago, and I was happy to have brought her on board there and to see what she's doing today. So you have this great example in City Hall where there were all kinds of representatives speaking up for breast cancer awareness. Last night, I went to hear Diane Nash at Gannon, an icon of the civil rights movement, and the place was packed, and she gave this amazing message about the need to be educated and informed and connected with each other. She didn't have a lot of kind words for politicians. And then she asked for questions, so of course, being a longtime journalist, I had to bravely go up to the microphone and ask a question. And I talked to her about how it's hard for me to make that transition to being a politician, or people think I'm a politician. I said, I like to think of myself as a public servant. And after I said that, she said, I think I'm going to have to rethink my kind of thoughts about politicians. There are some good ones out there, so that made me feel better. But one of the things, she gave us a whole education on nonviolence and recommended 3 books that to help learn about Gandhi's approach to nonviolence. What a great opportunity to have that in Erie. There was a young woman there who is a native of South Sudan, and she asked a question. She talked about how it's difficult for her. She is black. She's from Africa. She has to travel in different circles. She said it's hard for her sometimes being in white circles because people aren't quite sure how, should they peg her somewhere. It's difficult being in African American circles because she is from Africa. She's not African American born here. So that was just an interesting thing to hear also. It just demonstrated to me how we have to be so open to making sure that we're welcoming and inclusive. And I think that one of the values of being certified as a welcoming community to immigrants and refugees is that we're also going to be able to examine how welcoming we are to people who already live here. We know we have some issues, a lot of issues with equity and with race, and this is going to really spark the conversation. We're going to be a better community than we already are because of this initiative. Thank you, Nikan.
Thanks, Elise. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Nikan and Liz. My team and I firmly believe that all residents have their own unique skills, talents, and perspectives, and Erie's unique diversity is what makes us stronger. We're committed to creating a community that celebrates diversity and helps us create welcoming, vibrant neighborhoods. When residents feel that they belong, are welcome, and have opportunity, they're empowered to realize their dreams. Empowered Erie residents will give back to the community that they now call home. Imagine what an amazing region we will have when everyone is valued and their creativity is unleashed and shared. We look forward to that day. This concludes this week's press conference. If there are no questions, everyone who presented will be available for interviews afterwards. Thanks very much for being here.